さて、それではお時間となりましたので、
The time has come to start the panel discussion on the human resources and organizational reforms and for the introduction of full-scale DX, the path Japan should take. I would like to introduce the speakers to you. Professor Hiroyuki Morikawa of the School of Engineering, the University of Tokyo. Mr. Yuji Ichimura, Senior Executive Officer of Konica Minolta, Japan. Next, Mr. Tatsu Hayashi, CEO of Stockmark. Last but not least, the moderator will be Mr. Keiichi Murayama, commentator of the editorial bureau of Nikkei. I would now like to ask Mr. Murayama to moderate. Can everybody hear me? Once again, to introduce myself, my name is Murayama of Nikkei. We have a 40-minute panel discussion. I'm happy to moderate. In this session, we will be discussing the introduction of full-scale DX, human resources and organizational reforms required and the path Japan should take. We'll be discussing human resources, organization, corporate structure from the point of view of DX. We will be having a discussion amongst experts. DX sounds rather vague. It seems complicated, and some people are still wondering what this means. In society today, there are complicated challenges besetting us. There are prevailing processes that are no longer reasonable, outdated, and inefficient. This kind of mechanism, as well as systems, still exist in Japan. With the advent of COVID-19, these problems and challenges have been clarified and come to the fore. We must overcome these challenges and pursue a new vision. One driving force to enable this process, to make breakthroughs, could be enabled by DX. That is my understanding of DX. So we need human resources and organizational reforms to enable further digital transformation. Time is very limited, and I would like to cover as many topics as possible. Therefore, at the outset, I would like to ask each panelist to introduce themselves and talk about their work, as well as interests and engagement with DX. I would like to call upon Mr. or Professor Morikawa, seated most close to me. My name is Morikawa of the University of Tokyo. I have been working in the area of digital transformation over the years with students at the university. In terms of DX, from about 5 or 6 years ago, I have had the opportunity to speak on this topic in many areas, and I'm happy to say that I have covered almost all of the prefectures, and I have also been talking to the chambers of commerce as well as Japan Association of Corporate Executives. So I am seeing that many people are increasingly interested. With COVID-19, there is further acceleration. I hope that digital initiatives will become more prevalent all over Japan. I'm looking forward to this panel discussion. Thank you. Next, Ichimura-san, please.
Hello, I'm Uchimura from Konica Minolta. Thank you for this opportunity. DX at our company, this is our effort to promote digital transformation. We try to reorganize ourselves. I am in charge of that reorganization. So for starters, all of the employees of our company are contacted to find out the definition of digital transformation. We try to define the word digital transformation. We actually use AI and data analysis to improve the business performance of our company. That is the final goal. So organizations and processes naturally need to be changed. And we write new rules. In the backdrop, we have conventional policies and systems in place. But changing all of those would be the must. This is the necessity that we are confronted with. Another thing that I'd like to share with you, I'm sorry this is a busy chart. On the right-hand side, if we develop a new product and we have the platform to make that possible, we change the organization, but they are not sufficient. We have 8 elements. All of these different 8 elements need to be orchestrated to accelerate the change. That includes the change of organization and change of the corporate culture. And that are the basis for the new definition of digital transformation.
Thank you, Ichimura-san. Hayashi-san, please. Hello, everyone. My name is Hayashi of the Stockmark. I don't have any audience in front of me, so I don't know what will be the right tension for me to speak. Let me first of all talk briefly about my company. We are focused on DX startup and with utilizing AI. I used to work at Itochu, so we have major companies represented. And with the last 3 decades, I know it's very difficult to change from inside. So I thought that I would work in a startup company to change from outside. In the DX, we are focused on data utilization to change the behavior of individuals as well as to support decision making. We are combining external data as well as internal data. In terms of outside data, Google News as well as Open News or Web News are collected. For individuals, we can have heightened sensitivity toward the external environment based on news, and by driving communication culture will be established. Teams, Slack, and other communication tools are being utilized by many people today, but it is very difficult to revitalize. And I think we are doing a good job in terms of having more companies use this. Mizuho, as well as other major companies, are utilizing our services. Furthermore, by utilizing the news data, we want to bring about innovation as well as new business, and therefore we have a search function for this purpose. And internal data, sales data, and solutions can be used for searching internal documentation.
Thank you, Mr. Hayashi. In your company, you have the logo mark. That is a squirrel, right? Does that mean anything? It's cute. That's the most important reason. But as a matter of fact, this animal impact gives positive impact on the forest ecosystem. So when you think of the text mining and data mining, in the world of mining, it is discovering the values. And squirrel will leave behind their food and forget about this. And this will help grow the forest ecosystem. So it's quite significant reason for that logo. And it's important that it looks pretty cute. So we have 3 panelists. Now we would like to open the discussion. When you think of human resources in an organization, there is a topic that we would like us to discuss. The working place, the way we work, especially under this corona pandemic. We promoted remote work. Many people are working from home, and we realized that it was possible. And sometimes we even think that office space is not necessary. Sometimes companies actually adopt a hybrid way of using office and home. Depending on the profession, you may not be able to work from home, but we used to have very rigid schedule, but at home you have a higher degree of freedom as you work at home. So there has been a major change, and there will be more change that is accelerated. So when you look at the working place, it could be a cafe or at home, different physical spaces, and also the way you work may also be affected. So the question will be, what will be the ideal way of working? What sort of working style should we pursue? And if we want to make that happen, what can we do? Starting with Mr. Hayashi, as you just mentioned in your company, the change is directly related to the services that you provide. You have to be responsive to the changes of the world, and you have to have higher information awareness, and intelligent communication is critical to your business. So in your eyes, what will be the future way of working? What will be the best possible scenario of changing the working style? We are a startup company. So have we changed before and after COVID-19? Not really. We have had this long-standing trend of changing the way we work. But there are three things that we have noticed. One is the focus. We have stakeholders and other companies. We will be able to stand in the same line, having a common understanding. And also decision-making in the remote world. We have to have the common language for us to be able to make decisions. We have to have data as a common language for us to reach a decision together. That's the second point. And thirdly, innovation. Conventionally, we had rigid operations. We simply have to take a task at a time and go to the next task. But we have more flexible workplace. We haven't found the best possible solution in a remote working environment. That is something that we need to build. So these are the three keys. The first thing is the common understanding, or possibly empathy. Do you have specific solutions? Something which was not defined before is now being clarified or defined? Conventionally, especially if you look at traditional Japanese companies, you are bound to the physical location. It is important for a person to be at a certain location. But today we have more time because we are not bound by the locations. So you have more time to look at yourself, to understand where you stand in the organization. The core of that will be the value of the corporate, the purpose of the business. Why do we have to have our company? What is the raison d'etre of the company? So you have to ask these questions. So at this timing, under the time of Corona, we are trying to recreate our mission. We have 60 or 70 employees in our company, including myself. We try to communicate with each other clearly as much as possible. So at the time of Corona, we have increased remote work. And then you ask yourself, why did I want to work for this company? Why this business? Which is not a bad thing. I think it's a positive question to ask. And I think I'm pretty sure this is common to many people. I think it's an important thing. There is a lot of people who actually move. They actually try to find new jobs at this time. Now, Professor Morikawa, I have a question to you as well. Digital transformation is not exactly a technical change. It's all about people and organization. It's the people who actually lead the change. As we've just discussed, we need to motivate people. We have to have common ground as we try to operate the business. When we talk about DX, we tell people to promote DX, but that's not a good way. How can we go about promoting digital transformation? What are the necessary elements to make it happen? As Mr. Murayama just said, it's not just technology. It's people who use technologies. It's people who need to be changed. So the conclusion is that we do not have any solutions. We do not have answers. It's not that digital transformation will be completed next year. It may take 10 years or 20 years because it involves changes of the people. I often talk about electrification. There has been the energy shift from steam engine to electrification in a factory. It took 30 years. We had smokestack industry, steam engine-based industry change to electrical industry. That involved the changes of wage systems, organizations, unless otherwise you won't see the result of improved productivity. We have DX, we have remote work. So we are saying job-based employment is the better choice. But I'd say there are many other things that need to change. So it is going to take a lot more time than we think. Yes, we have already tools, technologies. We have Zoom, online conference system. We have multiple tools that we can choose from. But that revealed that we are at the entrance. We are at the gate of the succeeding major changes. It is going to take time. When we find a good solution, we start to use it more. It is going to take a long time. As Professor Morikawa said, there is a keyword of job-based employment, job-based work. It's not the conventional way of working. We have to make a shift to job-based work. So as has been mentioned, it is easy to say that since somebody is at office, he's working. So we say that's no longer valid. We have to have job-based work. Now, Mr. Ichimura, I'm pretty sure you have opinions about the way we work.
I do understand the direction toward the job description type of work, but digital has enabled everyone, so everyone is feeling more empowered. That means that we have to be more focused on the individual, whether it be technology or the direction of the company, to recognize and understand. And once it is convincing, by communicating further and by sharing with the team, further understanding can be enhanced, which will lead to behavior change. This basic rule, I believe, will remain unchanged. So each individual, when they change their behavior, then as an organization, it will emerge stronger. That means that when we are focused on individuals, as already mentioned today, the organization that one belongs to, the purpose of existence will have to be redefined. This has to be revisited because changes are taking place so fast. hypersensitivity is what is required as individuals to decide on one's own. I think there has to be a sense of ownership of making decisions. And the access for making the decision must be offered by the organization as well. 6 values is what we are advocating. And by so doing, individuals will be aligned with the company's direction, and the 6 values will be fully understood by the individuals. And once it is in line, then individuals can make decisions. At that time, one needs courage. So this courage has to be supported. Psychological security will have to be provided in the framework. Otherwise, speed cannot be achieved. If we rely too much on the individual, we're trying to enable such a process. Ichimura-san, you mentioned that in some cases, courage is required within your company. How is it? Do individuals make decisions and take action without consulting the superior? Is that taking place? Yes, this is emerging. We have internal YouTube used so that it can be expanded horizontally. The new employees, they don't have a network because of COVID-19. They don't understand the company they joined. Therefore, executive officers can be involved, and there are remote study groups emerging within the company. So we're providing this on the YouTube. Let me give you another example. There are some people who don't understand what the DX is about. So they are taking initiative to study DX. And once they are convinced, they will communicate this information in phases, number 1 to number 3. This is very interesting. So we are deploying it in the organization as well. So it seems that just because we do something today, it doesn't show results the next day. Some time will be required for it to fully be effective. There is also purpose as well as empathy is also required. So access should be provided by the organization and show the direction and show the objectives. And you will have people who can empathize with the same values and principles, and then they will follow the direction as well as take their own actions as well, making decisions. In a nutshell, is that what you have? I believe so. So from the point of view of the organization, from the company side, what kind of companies will have power, purpose, as well as having something that the people can empathize with is first and foremost important. But in addition to that, or beyond that, what is required? I'm sure there are different conditions. Some employees may wonder what they are doing in a certain company. There could be more mobility as a result of that. But still, you'll have centripetal power to have people come together. Where is this emerging? Where do you think this kind of centripetal power emerge? Ichimura-san, please. From the point of view of the company, obviously, sustainability is something we have to be very conscious about. And Ito's report has also advocated this. The company values as well as capital value was emphasized. But with the COVID-19, this has become a simultaneous global pandemic compared to the SDB. So society's sustainability is coming to the fore. This is becoming increasingly important in all generations. So the economic values as well as capital efficiency in the past was a short-term, mid-term sustainability for the companies. But I think companies have to beyond that, longer for sustainability for company and sustainability for society. It will be on the same continuum.
That is how companies must be active, so that the companies will be a part of the society supporting sustainability. I believe this is a type of corporate direction that is called for. And I hope that employees can empathize with this. And I believe that the capital market is moving in this direction as well. Thank you. Well, I would like to respond from a different point of view. Morikawa-san. I would like to talk about two perspectives. First of all, diversity. Diversity means to rock the boat because evolving in trial and error. When we think about diversity, I read something that was very interesting. Customer success. This customer success is a buzzword today. And I found out that Google's leader in this area, she is writing a blog 10 years ago. That when they were the genius organization, and there was information regarding what kind of people they want to employ. People who are not knowledgeable about the technology. And these geniuses and this type of people can come together and be very powerful and compelling. This is what is meant by diversity. You have to have different types of people because innovation is diversity. I think this is something that is increasingly true, and such companies are very active. The second point is to rock the boat. In foreign capital companies, it seems that personnel evaluation system is changing very frequently. This is difficult for employees in the beginning, but they give up. They become used to it because they feel that the evaluation system is bound to change. So they just give up on this. And what happens? They think about the reason why, the purpose of working. That is becoming more important. So is it for the company or for society or for the superior? This is also important. By making these changes, annealing occurs. And optimization can occur. I hope you can try this in your company. But companies may be concerned about unions in that regard, but I think it would be very interesting. You talked about diversity and also trial and error is very important. By so doing, because we don't know what the correct answer today in this world. And that is the reason why you just can't think forever. Even if you make a mistake, lessons can be learned from those mistakes. So I think it's important to try initiatives. You also talked about diversity. Indeed, in the past 1 or 2 years, tech rush is occurring. Technology is continuing to evolve and develop. But is it really useful for society is being questioned. Because sometimes it is dividing society. It is hindering communication in some cases. Some people are saying that it's more negative than positive. I think that has been the prevailing trend in the past several years. And the answer lies in diversity, according to my view. Because it could be a very outstanding engineers, but it could be born out of monoculture. And that could have a negative impact. And globally, I don't think we can ignore that. In that regard, digital thinking and taking action requires diversity.
That is a very important keyword. Thank you. We have a little bit more than 10 minutes remaining. So when it comes to the digital, we need to talk about data. So the next topic will be data. The organization that need to deal with data. To different degrees, organizations need to make decisions. You simply cannot keep thinking. You have to make a decision for the organization to move on. If you use data in the wrong way, the consequence will be serious. But if you use data usefully, effectively, that will be a very powerful weapon. So I want to talk about decision-making in the time of data. First, I want to ask Mr. Hayashi, you have natural language processing for AI, meaning that you have used enormous amount of data. So can you talk about data usage? There are a lot of data that we can use, but the important thing is the conventional data that are used are numerical data, only structured data. But today, we have this breakthrough for AI. We can analyze text. Unstructured data can be analyzed in a way that humans can understand. So ambiguous decision can be better understood today. And DX, from that perspective, the largest use of data would be the sensitivity to external environment. As Mr. Ichimura said, we will be better aware of the external environment. When you start something, in a way, you were only inward looking. But when there is a pressure from external force, you will have to change. We had customers using our product A News. So it's a lot of news that is distributed to our customers. And the customers started to say that our industry is being disrupted with the advent of Amazon, entry of Amazon. So there are no longer borders between industries. So customers are pressured to reconstruct their business. That's the first step. It's not the data science. Rather than going to that highest point, the first thing you have to do is to be better sensitive to what is happening in the outer world. Mr. Ichimura, in your company, I'm pretty sure there have been trials and errors in trying to use data for decision making. Yes, in case of Konica Minolta, we have business in more than 50 countries. More than 80% of our business comes from overseas market. So data collection is collected from different locations of the world. It is almost like a bucket relay, and then we have to feed back the opinions of the management down to different locations. So sharing data, analyzing automatically and aggregating that, and then analyze the data on a real-time basis. And this has now been deployed to supply chains. And that's where we stand today. You talked about unstructured data besides structured data. We have image processing technologies in our company to visualize invisible combustible gas. For example, the medical market, security market, we have to follow the movements of people, and we actually set the rules for analysis, and then we can actually check that remotely and give feedback on a real-time basis to ensure the security of people. Even where gas is released or not, we make sure that alarm will be set off automatically. Utilizing unstructured data, including image, we are able to analyze that. So we have already commercial applications. So Professor Morikawa, I need to ask you too, could you also share with us your opinion on this?
ものも重要だってことだと思うんですけれども、でただ組み合わせとしては、
But the combinations would be people, data, and technology. I'm not sure it's the addition or multiplication. By combining them together, we can enhance the power. So, Professor Morikawa, with data, being able to make a decision. On the other hand, we have a hunch, intuition, and also the experience, which cannot be expressed in numerical numbers. So how should we combine them together? How can we strike the best possible balance between them? I'm not sure whether I can answer, but think of data scientists. The number of data scientists should be increased. We need them, yes, we need them, but data will be derived from different fields. But data scientists do not necessarily understand what is happening in the field. So the knowledge and awareness of the people in the field are important. And also, we have to have data scientists. And we also need people who can bridge them together. So diverse people should be involved to make sure that digital technologies are widely used. So bridging is something the agri-guide of NTT Docomo. This can be extended further. The 5G design guide, IoT design guide. These are non-technical people. Again, they are the bridge to enhance the value. Anybody could be a bridge. Knowing that, the other people in other areas of the municipal government will be confident that they can do this. I think it's a good grassroots movement. Thank you very much. The last question that I have to you would be the human resource development, skills improvement. Because our environment changes rapidly, the skills that are required would be different as technologies change. So how can we teach? How do we go about the education and training? Yes, we do have tools. We can give them tools and have them work on their own. But on the other hand, in a company, you may have to have a system to provide support to employees to learn. So lastly, I want to talk about the human development. Agri girl and design girl, which were mentioned, rather than leaving everybody or individuals to work on their own, is there anything the company can do for them? Mr. Ichimura, please. It's not that everyone should be a data scientist. The people in 40s and 50s, they do have opportunities as well. They have their own accumulated experience. But what should we add to that for them to be able to play a new role? Necessary skills, know-hows, possibly certifications. All these need to be clearly defined for individuals to be able to choose. We give them multiple choices for individuals to be able to choose. Conventionally, we simply give group training, uniform training to everyone, but that's not good enough. Today, we have access to classes openly offered by prestigious universities. So we need to understand and define what is necessary for individuals when they are motivated. They will be able to choose, as Professor Morikawa said. They do not have to be expert in specific categories. That's where company need to help.
AISUM, please. For individuals, I think we have to bring out the will by the organization, because once there is will, I think people will study and learn. I used to work for Itochu Corporation. I was working in finance. It's not IT business, it's also AI. But now I am talking about the AI in front of all these people, because I learned AI because it was necessary for the business. So once we have this will and opportunity, I think that people become independent. We have run out of time, but do you have any last messages? Anyone before we close? Well, please go ahead. We are struggling, and I'm sure you will struggle as well in this area. DX, what is referred to as DX? In your organization, how to measure the progress is what I'm referring to. Because changes are working in real time, changes are occurring constantly, and we have to try. But we need to have a metric for reviewing what we have done. In our company for the past 6 months, we have set up a metric indicator to measure this. This is important for review in the company as well as for communicating and appealing to the outside regarding DX. Even the definition is vague. That is the reason why it's necessary to review. And by so doing, I think we can accelerate the process going forward. Thank you very much. It's just the right time to bring this session to a close. How was it for everybody? 40 minutes went by very quickly. We could have discussed for another 2 hours. But we would like to bring this to a close. The empathy as data-driven, trial and error, important keywords have been mentioned. When we talk about DX, it is not something that can be resolved by technology alone. Increasingly, human-centric becomes important. A purpose is also required. It's a comprehensive art that we have to strive for. Therefore, we are at the starting line for everybody for competition. There is no answer yet. Therefore, trial and error is the phase we are entering today. We can learn from mistakes and accumulate success stories. So this is a long-term effort that is required. People talk about speed all the time, so people tend to act in haste. But that is not the case. We have to have a goal, higher goal in the distant future, and make steadfast progress toward this goal. I think that is what is called for. Once again, I would like to thank the 3 panelists. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you very much. So thank you very much to Morikawa-san.